Hey goal achievers, it's Coach Justin here, and if procrastination is silently killing your momentum, you know what to do, and you know doing that will create a better life for you and your family, but you keep putting it off or you're avoiding it altogether, don't worry, you're not broken, you're just stuck in a very common trap. And understanding and applying what I call the keys to freedom will help you break free from this trap. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what's causing this cycle and more importantly, how to actually break free so you can create real tangible results, even if you've been struggling with this for years. Because once you understand what's actually causing your procrastination, it'll lose all its power. If this is your first time watching, welcome. I'm Justin Grimer. I've been a mindset coach for 8 years, coached over 2,000 clients globally, and was business partners and close friends with Bob Proctor for over 6 years. On this channel, I show you how to actually master your mindset and implement the principles of success to create real tangible results. Before we take a deep dive into the keys to freedom, let's break down what's actually stopping you from taking action. Now, we have things called paradigms, and a paradigm is a multitude of habits stored in a section of our subconscious mind. And our paradigms are the primary cause of our results. Our paradigms control our productivity, they control our effectiveness, our paradigms control our ability to earn money, they control our confidence, our decision making. Our paradigms control everything. Now, keeping in mind that a paradigm is a multitude of habits stored in a section of our subconscious mind that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, is what I see from 99.9% of people who study personal development. They set a goal, and yes, setting a goal is an essential step to creating the life that we want to create, but they set their goal and they spend 100% of their attention and their focus on the goal. They're constantly visualizing the goal, they're screaming positive affirmations in the mirror. However, the truth is, the manifestation of the goal is an effect of your habitual thinking, your habitual behaviors, and the person you become. And we want to embody this quote. Your goal is not for what you get, it's for the person you become in the process. So what keeps a lot of people stuck in the loop of procrastination is they're constantly focusing on their goal and they're not focusing in on their habitual thinking and their habitual behaviors. I want you to burn this into your memory. When you align your habitual thinking, your habitual behaviors, and the person you need to become with your goal, that is when you'll attract the good that you desire. This is the missing piece for most people. Now, there's two ways to shift the paradigm. The first way is through constant spaced repetition, elite level coaching, and implementation. This is read the same thing, write the same thing, get emotionally involved with the same thing while being taken by the hand and actually shown step by step on what to do and how to do it by someone who has walked the path, by someone who has actually achieved what you would like to achieve. The second way is an emotional impact. Now, an emotional impact is something that's almost always negative. So it might be the loss of a job, death in the family, or a loss of a relationship. Embodying the keys to freedom is what's going to help you. Understanding and applying the keys to freedom is what's going to actually help you shift your paradigm. And we're going to be using constant spaced repetition, elite level coaching, and implementation. Let's get into the first key to freedom, discipline. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. And the truth is, discipline is the root cause of confidence, self-worth, self-esteem, and a positive self-image. And I see a lot of people who study personal development, they're relying on motivation and they're relying on inspiration. Motivation is temporary and inspiration never lasts. Discipline is what is going to help you achieve your personal and professional goals. Now, you've probably heard hundreds of coaches speak online and say, well, discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it and go and be disciplined. And you sit there and you think to yourself, well, what am I actually meant to do with that? I'm going to break discipline down into 3 very simple steps. Step 1 of actually applying discipline. You need to have clearly defined goals, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a quick exercise to do, and it's called pre-plan your success. As what pre-plan your success consists of is taking a pen and a paper and mapping out your perfect day. Literally from the moment that you wake up in the morning to when you go to sleep. So for example, if you're an early riser and you wake up at 5 a.m., you would schedule in, wake up at 5 a.m., 5 a.m. to 5:15 a.m., shower and gratitude. 5:15 a.m. to 6 a.m., study. 6 a.m. to 6:30, get my lunch ready for work, pack my lunch, prepare for the day, my commute to work. I'm just giving a rough example here. 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. work. You're blocking off your work hours. 5 p.m. to 5:30 drive home from work. 5:30 to 6 dinner. 6 to 7:30 income producing activities on my new business. So as what you're doing is you're literally taking out a pen and a paper and you're asking yourself, what does a perfect day need to look like for me? Why have I called this exercise pre-plan your success? It's because 99% of people are leaving their success up to chance. They wake up in the morning and they're like a leaf in the wind. They're going this way and they're going that way. They're letting the outside conditions and circumstances, their work, their business, friends, family, control their schedule. You need to take control of your schedule. You need to take control of how you're actually using your time. You hear me say this a million times, and you'll have heard me say it if you've been following me for any time. To create the life that we want to create, we need to discipline our mind. That's control our thinking, and we need to create winning behaviors. That means that we need to align our thinking and our behaviors with the person that we want to become and the life that we want to live. And a key aspect to this is pre-planning your success. Said in a different way, you're actually setting yourself up to win. Stop leaving your day to chance. Just a little bit of a summary for pre-planning your success is what you're sitting down and you're doing is you're mapping out what does a perfect day need to look like for me to live the life that I want to live. Step 2 of implementing discipline into your life, less is more. Now this ties very closely into my next key to freedom, which is going to be consistency. However, the number one thing that I see most people do, which holds them back from creating discipline, is giving themselves too many things to do, okay? They give themselves 8, 12, 15 things to do a day, and they sit down and they get into their office and it's paralysis by analysis. As what they're doing is they're trying to order the things that they have to do, they start feeling overwhelmed and they do absolutely nothing. Less is more. One of the things that is going to help you get from where you are to where you're going to go is doing something that I like to call stacking winning behaviors. You don't need to do all of 2025's growth today. You don't even need to do all of this month's growth today. All you need to do is focus on doing today's work today. If you're listening to this, maybe you're working a 9 till 5 or an 8 till 6, or maybe you're a business owner and procrastination is crippling you. You're waking up in the morning and you're sitting in your office and you're sitting there like you're wearing cement boots, like there's a 300-pound concrete vest on you. And trust me when I say I can relate to that. That used to be me, okay? I used to be someone who let procrastination hold me back. I would go through a whole day and I would get very little to nothing done. I wasn't always a productive person. I wasn't always disciplined. I wasn't always consistent. These are habits that I built over time. If that's you, and I'm going to assume that it is you to one scale or another, or you wouldn't be watching this, I want you to simplify it. I want you to say to yourself, okay, tomorrow, what is 1 or 2 of the absolute most important things that I need to do that is going to help me progress towards my goal, okay? And put out of, it's not to say that you're going to completely discard the rest, because eventually you're going to get to, but put the rest out of your mind. Give yourself 1 to 2 income producing, 1 to 2 clear direction every single day. And then once you execute those 1 or 2 things, let's say for a period of 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, once it's a habit, and that's what we want to do. We want to shift our habit. We want to actually shift our paradigm. Once it's a habit, it's going to become harder not to do than to do. This is the secret to compounding success. Then, once you're in the habit of executing those 1 or 2 things, you can start stacking those winning behaviors. Then you can add something. Then all of a sudden, you form the habit of doing 3 productive things every single day. You do this for 30 or 60 days, and then 4, and so on and so forth. The third step to actually implementing discipline into your life is do hard better. And this ties into our third key to freedom. Okay, so we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone here, which is persistence. A gentleman named Napoleon Hill wrote this book, Think and Grow Rich. Now, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill himself interviewed 500 of the most successful people in the world, and he summarized interviewing those 500 successful people into 13 principles of success, 13 common characteristics that every single one of these 500 people possessed. And one of the chapters in the book is persistence. And I want to read you a little bit about what Napoleon Hill had to say with persistence. He said the majority of people are ready to throw their aims and purposes, he's talking about their goals here, overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. Few carry on despite all opposition until they attain their goals. What is he saying here? Most people quit. Most people are stuck in this start-stop cycle where they're good for 2 days, they experience some turbulence, they experience a little bit of failure, and then they default back to their old thinking and their old behaviors. He says, and I want you to listen to this very closely, there may be no heroic connotation to the word persistence, but the quality to the character of man or woman is what carbon is to steel. He goes on to say, lack of persistence is one of the major causes of failure. Spasmodic or occasional effort to apply the rules will be of no value to you. To get results, you must apply all of the rules until their application becomes a fixed habit with you. This is what I was talking about at the start of the video, okay? The habit or a paradigm, it's 2 different words for the same thing, is a multitude of ideas that is fixed in our subconscious mind. And is what he's saying here is, instead of constantly focusing in on the goal, you've got to focus in on creating habitual winning behaviors. In no other way can you develop the necessary money consciousness. Poverty is attracted to the one whose mind is favorable to it, as money is attracted to him whose mind has been deliberately prepared to attract it. And through the same laws, poverty consciousness will voluntarily seize the mind which is not occupied with money consciousness. A poverty consciousness delivers without conscious application of habit favorable to it. The money consciousness must be created to order unless one is born with such a consciousness. Without persistence, you'll be defeated even before you start. With persistence, you'll win. There is no substitute for persistence. It cannot be supplemented by any other quality. Remember this, and it will hearten you in the beginning when the going may seem difficult and slow. Those who have cultivated the habit of persistence seem to enjoy insurance against failure. No matter how many times they are defeated, they finally arrive up towards the top of the ladder. What is he saying here? He's saying that you will get tested. He's saying that you will get punched in the mouth. He's saying that you will experience failure. I am sick and tired of seeing coaches online selling ease and effortless. And I'm not saying that it can't be easy, and I'm not saying that it can't be effortless, but you have to earn easy. You have to earn effortless. You earn easy and you earn effortless by the person that you become. It's not going to be easy in the beginning. And you have to form the habit of doing hard better. The second key to freedom is consistency. Consistency is the ability to do ordinary things for an extraordinary period of time. And I'm going to break consistency down into 4 simple steps for you. Step 1, form the habit of getting 1% better every single day. Where most people fall down, okay, and this ties very closely into the discipline lesson, and the truth is these principles are so closely interwoven, some of them do overlap, okay? But where I see most people fall down is they're trying to do all of 2025's growth in one day. They're trying to do all of 1 month's growth in one day. They're trying to do all of this week's growth in one day. All you need to do is focus on doing today's work today. I'm going to illustrate the power to you of simply getting 1% better every single day. If you stopped right now and you said to yourself, okay, I'm going to stop trying to do all of this month's growth in one day, and I'm simply going to focus on getting 1% better every single day. If you focus on getting 1% better every single day for 30 days, at the end of the 30 days, you're 35% better. Okay, so it's not that much. If you do that every day for 60 days, at the end of 60 days, you're 82% better. Now, if you do that every day for 90 days, at the end of 90 days, you're 145% better. If you do that every day for 180 days, at the end of 180 days, you're 500% better. And if you simply get 1% better every single day for 365 days, you're going to be 3,600% better. This is a great representation of the fact that yes, it's going to be a little bit slower in the beginning. Napoleon Hill spoke about this in his persistence chapter. Let's hear it in his own words. He said, "There is no substitute for persistence. It cannot be supplemented by any other quality. Remember this, and it will hearten you in the beginning." So when you're starting out in the 1%, when the going may seem difficult and slow. However, you've got to understand that if you commit to getting 1% better, using the law of compound interest, you're going to constantly be getting 1% better on what's already 1% better. So the results will begin to compound very quickly. Step 2 of implementing persistence: have fun, be present, and enjoy the journey. I can feel how cliche it sounds as the words are coming out of my mouth. However, the truth is, your goal is not for what you get, it's for the person you become in the process. And I see so many people worrying, doubting, stressing, and struggling towards their goal, okay? And they are completely missing the purpose of what a goal is actually for. I want you to burn this into your memory. Your goal is not for what you get, it's for the person you become in the process. Which ties perfectly into step 3 of actually implementing consistency into your life. Become a process-driven goal achiever. I've been studying personal development now for 13 years. And my personal development journey has taken 3 very clear phases, okay? Phase 1 of my journey was I studied this material with no results. And this phase went on for about 3.5 years. And it's not hyperbole when I say I studied this material with no results. In fact, there's a really good argument to be made that I went backwards in that time because I was a walking, talking encyclopedia of this knowledge. However, my results were moving nowhere. Every day, my confidence was being significantly impacted, and I was growing more and more frustrated every single day. Then, in 2015, I started getting mentored by Bob Proctor, and I moved out of phase 1 into phase 2. And phase 2 was I actually changed my life and I actually created tangible results. However, I was miserable. When things were good, I was up, and when things were bad, I was down. I was riding the highs of the highs, the lows of the losses. Every time I experienced failure, I would default to victim mentality. And let me tell you, this was extremely stressful, okay? And I was earning more money. I'd grown several successful businesses. I had time freedom. I had a good amount of financial freedom, but I did not have the emotional freedom. And I remember it was about midway through 2016 when I sat back and I said to myself, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm just as miserable as I was when I was on the job site as a carpenter working 65 to 70 hours a week. This is what inspired me into moving into phase 3 of my journey, the phase that I'm in right now. And there may be a phase 4 and a phase 5, but right now I'm in phase 3. Phase 3 is understanding what personal development really is. I'm going to say it again. My goal is not for what I get, it's for the person I become in the process. Have fun, enjoy the journey, be present, fall in love with the person you're becoming. Become a process-driven goal achiever. Don't be a results-driven goal achiever like 99% of people who study this material. And here's why I tell you about the 3 phases of my journey. You might be listening to this right now and you might be in phase 1. You might be that person who's been studying this personal development for years and you're a walking, talking encyclopedia of this knowledge, but you're creating next to no results. Or you might be listening to this person and you might be in phase two, where you've created a level of financial freedom. You're actually doing okay. However, for the lack of a better word, you're miserable. You're up when things are good and you're down when things are bad. Learn from my mistakes. Know that with the right application of these principles, you can instantaneously plant your flag in phase three, or the phase three that I'm alluding to, by actually embodying what I'm teaching here. And step four of actually creating consistency into your day-to-day life to create real tangible results. Fall in love with the person you're becoming. I'm having a little bit of a laugh to myself because as I say these 4 steps out loud, it literally feels like I'm saying the same 4 things, just in slightly different ways. However, you don't want to be that person that looks back in 10 years' time or 15 years' time and says to yourself, I wish I enjoyed it a little bit more. I wish I didn't sweat the small stuff. I wish I didn't stress over every little thing. I wish that I'd just trusted the process. I wish that I'd had fun. I wish that I'd enjoy the journey and actually be present and enjoy where you are. Remember why you got into this. If you're a business owner, I'm going to assume that you're delivering a product or a service. And I'm going to assume that you got into that product, service, or business for a reason. It was to service people. It was to help people. It was to have a positive impact on people's lives, whether you're in coaching or whether you're in real estate or whether you're a mortgage broker. Be a part of your client's journey. Have fun and focus on the person you're becoming.